Welcome to the live checkup. This is where we sit down with Dr. Asante LeBlanc and ask all the possible questions we can when it comes to our health and care. Let me just tell you this first off. Dr. Asante LeBlanc is the medical director and owner of Victoria Clinic, your home for holistic health care in Trinidad and Tobago. Victoria Clinic is located at 54 Galley Street in Woodbrook. Dr. LeBlanc is a medical doctor and certified medical herbalist. She is an integrative health care practitioner, bringing together the eastern and western branches of medicine so as to better guide patients on their path to optimum health. She's also a certified clinical densitometrist, specialist in diagnosis and treatment of osteoporosis. At Victoria Clinic, services offered include medical consultations, traditional Chinese medicine consultations, acupuncture, medical herbalism, blood tests, electrocardiograms, lung function testing, and Dexter bone density testing. You can contact Victoria Clinic at 622-2221 or 622-0683. Follow them on Facebook, Victoria Clinic, or Instagram, Victoria Clinic _Trinidad. Website www.victoria-clinic.net. This is the live checkup. I'm JD. Now, let's jump into today's conversation. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the live checkup. I'm JD, and as you know, always I've got Dr. Asante LeBlanc with me inside another episode. This is where we sit down and chat together, but you are, of course, invited to not only add your comments, but share your questions as well right here with us on YouTube. And we've got some things in the working. We'll talk about that later on, closer to the end. We'll let you know about that. But right now, I wanted to jump into some hacks. Well, health hacks. But before I do that, where's my manners? Good day to you, Dr. Asante LeBlanc. How are you doing? Welcome back to another episode. Always good to have you here.
Hi, JD. How are you? I'm good. I'm good.
Nice. So I'm in red, you're in green. It's splendid.
I know, but we both have on our headset.
Yes. Yes. So as always, we try to find these conversations that many of us are asking ourselves or even having discussions with our peers when it comes to our health. And not too long ago, we did detox. And that sort of sparked a conversation in me where I said to you off air, if I can say that, we need to talk about some of these hacks, these health hacks that many of us have either tried or currently doing that are not as effective as we think it is. Yeah. So
Yes.
I think we can work on 5 of them today inside of our time. Yes. Of course, we have so many other great forms of conversation coming up in future episodes, but we just encourage you to click like, share, and subscribe right here. This is information. It's not just for you, it's for everyone that you love as well. And I keep learning each and every time. So, Doc, before you pass on these helpful hacks, let's make sure and also add that element of science behind it if it is indeed effective, because you are indeed a holistic doctor. So you do deal with both ends of it in terms of our health. And well, I almost said fitness, but you're into that as well, too. And did you do Mount Hololo this weekend?
Yes, I did.
Okay, whatever. I am not ready to do that yet.
I did. I haven't done it in a few weeks, and I went out did it this weekend.
Before we get serious about our hacks, how long does it take to complete for a newbie as myself? How long would it take me to get to the top of Mount Hololo?
Well, I'm still considered a newbie. It takes me about an hour to get up. An hour 2 minutes if I have somebody who's extremely new with me.
Right. so that'll be like
I would say on average 2 hours, a little over 2 hours up and down.
2 hours up and down. All right. You think it's something I should do, Doc? You're my GP. Talk to me. Do you think I should?
I find it's a great cardiovascular workout, aerobic exercise. I find it gives a lot of endurance, and it will maintain your body in the fat burning zone, so to speak, for a longer time, because you have to go slower because it's a constant incline. So I find it helps with endurance as well as fat burning at the same time. When I look at my watch in terms of where my heart rate is most of the time.
So it's a slow pace of the hill, because it's not no You know,
Well, unless you are crazy.
okay,
Yes, it's a slow
okay.
pace. I mean, I have a lot of weight to carry with me. I'm not exactly the lightest thing around. So I find it's I do it well, not very slowly, but I try to do a little bit of increase intensity and decrease,
Right,
but
intervals.
yeah, but I mainly go at a steady, constant, slower than normal pace that if I'm usually power walking on the flat.
Well, you know,
Let's
our
put it that way.
mutual friend Natasha Jones wants me to do this. So maybe I'll record it one day. I really want to try it, but I just worry about my knees. Because I
So
have some issues.
I go up easily. I have knee issues and back issues, but I come down walking doing the right things, walking sideways or zigzagging
Right.
or walking backwards when it's extremely steep. So
And there
I
are
haven't
points at
had
which, oh my God.
yes, and I haven't had any major pain or injuries, and we've been doing this since December.
Once a month is good for me.
I would say my husband and one of my daughters does it every week.
All right then.
I
Okay.
think they're certifiable, but
Let's proceed, shall we? So I found some health hacks. Like I said to you guys, if you're not joining us, health hacks that are I don't want to say totally absurd, but many of us are trying them, and I just wonder: is it effective? Am I wasting my time? So at some point, we look on the internet and we see so many of these hacks, and we swear by it. And I know Dr. Santi LeBlanc can speak to sometimes some of our patients, like myself, coming and say, "I saw this online," you know but we really need to be so careful and do some serious research when it comes to those health hacks and its effectiveness. So one of the first ones I want to jump into is the easiest. Lemon in warm water every morning. You touched on it most recently in our detox episode, but can we dive into this some more? I am going to admit I haven't bought any this week because lemon is Mr. Lemon, right? But when I do continuously purchase, I take it every single morning. How effective is that? What is exactly is happening? And should it be every morning?
so JD, I know that a lot of talk came around with lemon water and so-called alkalinizing your system and your body.
Yes.
The thought being that somehow with inflammation, we're acidic, excessive inflammation in our body, we're acidic, we have an acidic environment. We've touched on this before, where I've always mentioned that our body, once in balance, is programmed to have through a process called homeostasis.
Mm-hmm.
It will regulate the pH of our body as it's supposed to at different parts of our body. So there's an ingrained instruction manual in our body that is unconscious that says your stomach has to be a pH of 4, your small intestine maybe 4.5, your larger intestine X, your mouth X. So there's your urine has to be a certain pH. So
Yes.
everything is stabilized and balanced, right? And we have chemoreceptors in our body at all parts. And chemoreceptors send messages to the brain and to the autonomic part of the brain, which is the part where we don't consciously control. And it says too high, too low. The brain then goes to the kidneys and the intestines and everywhere and says, pull in H plus, push out H plus, bring in bicarbonate, push it out, stabilize that pH. This body needs to be regularized. So that being said, when I hear that if I drink an acid substance, which is a
Right.
lemon, because
Right.
citric is acid. The last time I checked my chemistry, that it will alkalinize my body. I sit and I think several things. I sit and I think of the process and I say, okay, great. If I put in a lot of acid in my body, then the body will through the chemoreceptors at different parts of my body, it will recognize that there's too much acid and it may push out the acid, therefore
Right.
keeping it at the right pH. It's not going to make it alkaline. It's not going to go to a pH it's not supposed to be. You understand? So if my stomach has too much acid in it,
Right.
the pump and the chemoreceptors there are going to be dictated to pump out of that acid, right? So it's not going to be dictated to make the pH of my stomach 7. It's going to say, bring it back to the pH it's supposed to be, which is 4. Now, that being said, I think of this process because I really try in my mind, I really try to understand it in my mind, and I'm still researching it. So let's not say that, I'm saying all is wrong, but if you have inflammation in your joints,
Mm-hmm.
and you take, now the Chinese have noticed and said, if you take acidic substances and you feel the pain in your joints, then there's a certain pattern that we're looking at, right?
Yes.
And some people say, oh gosh, if I eat too much acid, I get pain in my joints.
Yes.
But yet you're going to drink lemon water, which is acidic.
But what
And
happens?
so then that's my one thing with the acidity bringing alkaline, right?
Right.
But then you drink it in the morning with warm water. So then I think, okay, here's what she's doing. She's stimulating her digestive system. Whether or not she used the lemon water or not, the minute you put something into your mouth, the minute you look at it and say, I'm going to drink or eat, it stimulates your entire digestive system, preparing for that substance to come down. So, in essence, what you're doing is stimulating your bowel to get it moving for that morning bowel movement. I can't tell you yes or no that the lemon water does something different. Does it give you a cleanse of some sort? I don't think so. It gives you a bowel movement. Is that a cleanse? No, that's a normal elimination process. You understand? Because your body has eliminated what it doesn't need. Your body is giving up what it doesn't need, what is broken down and has to be eliminated. And this is all planned without you thinking of it,
Yeah.
right? So I tell people, warm lemon water 2-3 weeks at a time. I don't see a harm to it, but I don't think it should be looked at as the only way to detox or my go-to to so-called alkalinize your body. I'm still trying to understand what the trend is, JD. I have not gotten to that because
Right.
your body can't, there are certain parts of your body that has to be alkaline, and there's certain parts of your body that has to be neutral, and there's certain parts of your body that has to be acidic, right? And you'll be surprised in your gut. The changes may be just by a point something as we go down the gut. And it's for the enzymes to work properly. So, in other words, the enzymes that break down our body's basic functioning, the cellular respiration, cellular metabolism has to occur in a certain pH at certain parts of the body, and it's
Okay.
just miraculous. You understand? So that's why I laugh. So I
But
support you.
but
Enjoy
what?
it.
But one of the things that I'm taking from you and holding on is the fact that you say, but it's so true. It helps stimulate your body for sure for the preparation of the day, whether it's that bowel movement or some say even it adds that it's potent for vitamin C. Yeah, I've heard that talk
You
as
could
well.
you could suck an orange.
Right, which I do. So yeah, because I am not one
You
thing
could
for
eat a
sure.
you could eat a guava.
Ugh. So I think that's why I do it because I'm not a guava person. I'm not one who would suck an orange. Just not me. I don't suck mangoes, those kind of things. So my mother always says I like the foreign foods too much, and I know you don't like that, but I do find limited local snack fruits that I really enjoy. Maybe the plums, yes, and stuff like that. But I'm not one to dive into orange, like we do peel it and stuff. Not me. So maybe that's where I'm getting my vitamin C. Yeah, but I hear what you say about the stimulation. I take that point down. Here's another one. I heard this. I went crazy and I started to get so much coconut oil, slapped it up inside of the house because I thought, this is going to work. I am going to draw out the toxins out of my body by swishing around some coconut oil in my mouth. Effective? No? I'm sure I'm not the only one though. Go ahead. I'll sip some water as you.
So pulling or swishing of coconut
Oil
oil
pulling,
is
yes.
an ancient Ayurvedic tradition, yes, and it's good for cleansing the mouth, the bacteria in the mouth, the whitening of teeth, health of the gums. Um, I think people just want it to sound trendy, When you
Right.
say detoxing, you're detoxing them out. You're pulling the toxins from your teeth.
Yes.
But the reality is that it's just cleaning.
Just cleaning my teeth. No
It's an
toxins coming
ancient
out.
tradition.
All right. I'm putting myself up for the gamble
But I mean,
today.
you could look at it. It's hard to say. I don't know. No, I don't agree with calling it a detoxing method. I think it's a cleansing.
Mm.
Yeah, it helps with hygiene, oral hygiene.
Okay. All right. So I'll just think about it for my teeth. Full stop. Um, I think you and I have spoken about this of when it comes to probiotics. I'm still trying to understand the reasoning and not understand, sorry, get used to what they say about the use of probiotics, whether you're getting it in your chia seeds or whether you're taking the supplements. And you can get it in other foods as well, not just chia seeds, right? But they say this is good to sort of reset or receive the good bacteria in your gut. How true and how effective is that with probiotics? And how often should we take it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, so we have good bacteria in our body, obviously. For example,
Yes.
E. coli or Escherichia coli is in our gut. We have others that live and they live at a healthy symbiotic kind of ratio.
Right.
And so that's how they help us, you know. Bacteria in our gut help to produce vitamin K, which helps with clotting, right? It helps with absorption of certain vitamins that are only fat soluble. So, I mean, there are different uses for bacteria in our body. It's not all bad. Um, Probiotics came about when I think, to be honest, people thought it was thought that um, some people's digestive issues, a lot of people start with digestive issues, be it gluten intolerance, um, can't eat red meat, can no longer digest meat, can't eat fish, can't eat sugars, white flours, and the list goes on. And when these digestive issues came about, everybody was looking for answers, and probiotics came about. Probiotics being like millions of little bacteria that we put into our gut to help chomp away, so-called chomp away, and help to balance your digestive system. So again, we come back to, is your body in balance?
Mm-hmm.
Because if your body's in balance, you may not need postbiotics, all these biotics. Now, if you're treated with antibiotics, they kill bacteria. So if you have a long course of antibiotics or you're given antibiotics, we do recommend sometimes that after the antibiotics or away from the use of the ingestion of the antibiotics, you use yogurt, which has natural cultures in it or bacterial cultures, because the antibiotics can kill your gut bacteria. And when it kills your gut bacteria, by killing off all the gut bacteria, we have problems with the same processes I just mentioned that the bacteria help with. So my thing, JD, I don't use probiotics personally.
Okay.
I have seen patients who live on probiotics. I believe in finding the root of the problem, the root of the issue when it comes to your digestive issues, the root of your bloating, the root of your gurgling stomach, your excessive
Yeah.
gas, the root of your sudden intolerance to certain foods. Looking at this, if there's a pattern with your hormones, with your cycle, if you're a woman, with where you are as a man, with your stress levels, because your stress levels impact greatly on your gut and how it functions. So this is how we come about. We've spoken about IBS or irritable bowel syndrome. We've spoken about, people who get acid reflux due to stress because it's a fight or flight response and your body goes into constant fight or flight. And so your body didn't get time to come off of that fight or flight response, and that throws everything out of balance. So JD, while we can use prebiotics, while we can use postbiotics and all these biotics, the reality is we have to see where our body is at and get it into
Yeah.
balance. We have to do that because that is how the body will function effectively as it is supposed to. So yes, there are people who have gluten intolerances and lactose intolerant. For example, my daughter became hugely lactose intolerant over the lockdown, and I couldn't understand it. Um, And it wasn't excessive stress, it wasn't anything like that. But when you look at the quality of food that we have, so then we have to look at what we are putting into our bodies.
Inside.
And so you find that she can tolerate better because she has now paid attention to the quality of food that she's putting into her body, and therefore can different tolerate different things better. You understand? Because you are now paying attention to the quality, the quantity that you put into your body, allowing for proper functioning at a cellular level, so microscopic and macroscopic levels, and therefore allowing for balance of the body. Now, JD, there's no doubt that nutrition has changed. There's no doubt that there's so much that has changed. Chia could give you omega-3s.
Yes.
Chia can give you so much, has so much health benefits. Coconut oil has health benefits. Salmon, our snapper, our kingfish, our baji, our callaloo. We all know that they have health benefits. So the question is, do we as a population, do we as individuals look at, number one, what is our heritage? What were we raised on when we were younger? What is our lifestyle like at present? What are our stress levels like? How are we sleeping? What did we grow up eating? So I could be of African descent, but grew up eating totally Indian food.
Right.
Right? So that when you put blue food in front of me, even though I'm of African descent, it may not digest as well. Right? Or I could be of Indian descent or Asian descent in terms of Chinese and Oriental. And so you have to look at those factors and what you were raised on. So I was raised on a very multicultural diet, for example. So I could eat everything up to rock, right? But I notice that if I don't eat food that is actually natural, that is not farmed, is not added with excessive preservatives, that doesn't have dyes or has dyes in it, if I eat those things, I can have an allergic reaction. Right. I can not feel well. But if I eat a chicken that was reared in front of me with no hormone in it and on beautiful natural foods and didn't get plumped from 1 week to the next to weigh 4 pounds, you understand? I will eat that chicken and enjoy it. Not only the taste of the chicken, but the chicken digests easier and my body feels better. But if I eat shrimp that come from Helpec, right, that is farmed and is now added with some pink something to make it look different, then I all of a sudden I'm allergic to shrimp. But then if I eat shrimp that comes from the actual ocean, from the ocean to me, I'm fine. Right? So we have to look at what we put into our bodies.
And that's what I was just about to say. So you're just telling me that I have to do this sort of research paper on myself, on my body, see what I'm allergic to or what is not just, as you say, in terms of intolerance, look at those things, And you know what I took from what you're just saying, please don't forget your point, that, before the COVID, which was only a year, your daughter was able to accept those things. And, so I'm seeing that change, that a change can happen so quickly, or you were once able to do something and now that you're not able to take that in. You were going to say something, sorry.
So I wanted to say that I think I have an emotional attachment to food. If you look at me, I'm selectively plump. We know this, right? I like chocolates. I like things that I'm not supposed to like, right? Because we allowed our bodies to eat the excessive sugars, the excessive salts. Right. But so it's hard for me sometimes. And my mentor, one of my mentors, he and I are still trying to battle, should we be plant-based versus animal-based, right? In terms of how we eat. And I tell him often, I think I can be plant-based, but I don't think it's right for me at this time.
Right.
Because I see the difference when I eat almost no meat for most of the week, and then I have meat twice a week versus when I have meat all the time. So I see the difference. But then when I look at Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, Western medicine, there's a time and a season for everything. So there may be times when you need animal protein, but then you have to look at the quality that you put into your body. So JD, I am still at a crossroads, and I'm very open to admitting this. I'm still at a
Right.
crossroads at finding what is right. But so far from everything I've seen with nutrition and how it's changed, I think what is right for you is for all of us is definitely looking at the quality of food that we put into our bodies, looking at what we put into our bodies. I can tell you that I no longer tolerate as much sugar and salt
Right.
as
Right.
before
Yes.
because it irritates me now, right? When I get something excessively salty, which was not excessively salty a year ago, I go, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
So there's no doubt that you can change and you can accept. But with that, JD, it comes fresh seasonings. So now I go out and I get fresh arugula from my garden. I get fresh thyme, shallot, or y'all call it chive, fresh onions, fresh peppers, sweet peppers. And that makes a difference. Fresh mint, rosemary. So that makes a difference to the food that you eat. So I don't think I want people to take away from us this evening that we should go all,
Of
yes,
course.
I think we should be local. I think we should eat as natural as possible. But I think we have to see how the food reacts on our body. Because I've seen too often when people say, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't eat that, they eliminate every Jesus thing out of their diet. And then they're like, oh God, but I feel like this. And when they go to eat it, all hell breaks loose. The fit hits the shan. And it's because you didn't do it properly.
I like
You
that.
understand? Yeah. So I really want you and I make a commitment all the time. How do we eat? What do we eat? You understand?
Right.
And there's no doubt that it's a dynamic process, that things will change with food science. But I'm also very conscious of the fact that with the changes in food science, we have to be conscious of how the first world and the food production world has
Right.
made us what we are today. And therefore, now when they dictate certain things, I'm very skeptical. And so I go, hold up, whoa, let me analyze this a minute, because you already led me down a road where I have
Yes.
insulin resistance, selective plumpness, hypertension, diabetes. And now you're telling me you're going to fix it for me, but you caused it.
Yeah.
Right? So let us just hold up a little bit, because the same coconut oil that my grandmother used to make and make me drink and cook in my food, you told me wasn't good for me because you wanted me to
Right.
buy canola and whatever oil that you wanted.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, you want to give me coconut oil that comes from somewhere else. It didn't come
Processed.
from Trinidad,
Yeah.
that's processed. So I have a problem, right? So let's just take this a step down and let's realize that the natives have brains, right? I'm very sorry, but I think that we need to recognize that. You
Yeah.
understand, JD? Not
I hear
everything
you.
foreign, not everything foreign means good. We have to look at our science and understand our culture and why our culture ate how they did. And it's very important to me to bring in different factors when it comes to formulating a proper diet for our population.
All right. I hear the passion in your voice. I hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think I went off there. Yes, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. Guys, this is the live checkup. Just to remind you, this is Dr. Asante LeBlanc. I'm JD. Of course, you can follow us on our Instagram pages as well as our websites. You can find out more about this program and many other great things that we're doing. But today we're talking about some of those, in fact, five of the things that those health hacks, and I have to do the air quotes, that we try, we say, we swear by. But the question is it really effective? So we just spoke about the probiotics. We're jumping into, is it colonics? So I've heard about this. I've never done it. Honestly, admission, I've never done it, but I have a few friends who have done this, if not twice or three times a year, but you hear them going, making it part of their routine. So let me just give the definition in case some persons don't know. So a colonic is also known as a colonic irrigation or colon hydrotherapy. It is a procedure done by a practitioner who streams gallons of water into your body through a tube inserted into your rectum. Though research is lacking, they say, Dr. LeBlanc, there is nothing to support a colonic's effectiveness as a way of promoting better health. What am I reading? I was thinking about doing it.
Don't do it.
Okay. I sip water again.
Yeah,
I'm
no, that,
listening.
that that is. I just had some nice. Yeah, that's an enema. That's all that is, you know. We do enemas in medicine to clean the gut out when we're preparing for colonoscopy, which is where we're going to see what your colon is looking like in terms of looking for tumors, polyps, cancers, and so forth. Um, Again, you do a colonic, so you wash out all of your gut,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with that, all of the bacteria. And then you wonder why you need probiotics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So you know what? To be honest, JD, it mentally helps people in their mind when they see all the bowel coming out in water form in the toilet, and they feel 10 pounds lighter for a couple of weeks, and it motivates them. Do I think it's something you should do all the time? Definitely not. There are risks to colonics. And it's important for you to understand your colon can be perforated if not done correctly. If you have a
Wow.
tortuous colon, meaning a very, very windy colon, which can happen, remember that person is going in blindly.
Right.
And so you want to be very cautious. If they're not a physician, they can rupture your colon. And then all that bowel, all that good stuff is going to go into your peritoneal cavity, which is your abdominal cavity, and can cause problems. Um, you're doing that, and to what end? You know, again, there's a reason you have a colon. There's a reason there's stool in your colon. If your body was programmed to have an ultra clean colon at least once a day, it would, but it's not. So there must be a reason for not having an ultra clean colon. So I think we need to rethink that colonic scheme there. Um, I know a lot of people do it. I know a lot of people like coffee enemas as well. I
Oh.
know, yes, I've heard of them. I know they like to offer it to cancer patients. Um, Coffee enemas, colonics, get all the toxins out of your body. Um, I really do not support it. I think it can be harmful. I think you have to analyze when an enema is needed. We use enemas when there's constipation as
Right.
well
Right.
to help the person to eliminate. So there's a time and a place for an enema. So think about it. I would leave that in your capable hands. And as you heard the literature, it may or may not be beneficial. So let's leave it right there.
Sip some tea.
It's
Yes.
it's a it's a lot of you know what coming out.
Finally, I need to lose some weight. Everyone is looking on may say the same thing, whether it's a 5 pound, a 10 pound, a 20 pound, a 30 pound, like myself, whatever the choice, right? I have been reading up and following, and even I took part a few times when it comes to intermittent fasting. I think we spoke about this last year. I wasn't too sure how I can't remember now how you felt about it, but intermittent fasting is the thing. Hey, I've got an app, two apps in my phone. I know by 3 p.m. today I need to be done eating. And next time I eat is at 7 a.m. There's a 16:8, there's the 18:4. You know how it goes.
Mhm.
What's your take on intermittent fasting and its effectiveness?
So as we were discussing, intermittent fasting is known to be done in many religions,
Yes.
all of them.
Mhm.
Um, Fasting from a scientific point of view. So I decided to look it up because I didn't want to talk nonsense. Even though I thought I knew what I was saying, so let me just make sure. So I mean, it's very simple there, JD. It's reducing your caloric intake. So it's reducing how many calories you take into your body,
Right.
right? That's number one. So you're gonna lose weight that way for sure, right?
Right.
Number two, when you remember we spoke about when how your body uses food for energy.
Yes.
So your body starts with carbohydrates, then goes to protein, and then goes to fat, right? So if you starve your body, so let's say you stop eating at 3 o'clock, right? You had how much ever meals, hopefully they were good meals and not stupidness,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Then your body is going to start breaking down the carbohydrates, right? Now, when your body gets the food, it stores the carbohydrates that is not used as glycogen and fat, right? It's not
Hmm.
storing it as protein. Protein is building muscle, right? So that's
Right.
where muscle building exercises happen, or you understand. So when your body starts to use the carbohydrates first, It's going to then go to the glycogen, use your stores, and then go to the protein, muscle breakdown, and then to the fats, right? So from 3 in the afternoon to 7 in the morning, that process is happening.
Right.
When you break down fat, you lose more weight, right? Because the fat stores are what make you selectively plump.
Right.
That's the real weight you want to lose, the visceral fat, right?
Yes.
So right. So so they have been studies that show that intermittent fasting does help with weight loss because of reduced caloric intake and shifting the pattern, so to speak, of how your body metabolizes food. It's giving it a jolt, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
shifting how it thinks. And it's no longer where we thought, you should starve yourself, because we learned when people starve themselves, they lose the weight. But remember, when you go to eat now, your body is saying, your brain is saying,
Oh,
this
she's
person is
feeding.
starving. So
Yeah.
when she feeds, let's store it as fat, because
Mm-hmm.
when she don't have nothing, we need to break down the fat. You understand? So all this is happening and you don't know about it, right? You just intermittent fasting. So they did see improvement in terms of insulin resistance and obesity in mice and in some individuals in some studies, but you cannot do it for life.
Right. Okay.
So, JD, we come back to that you cannot do it for life. So when you intermittent fast now, it's how do you get your body accustomed to eating again, right? So I don't think intermittent fasting is a bad hack, so to speak. But you do have to be careful and cautious in terms of if you suffer from any illnesses, what you're eating during your eating periods, what hours you're choosing to fast, what activities you're going on with. You can't intermittent fast and not eat and then you go and exercise, right?
Good
Because
point.
then when you go and exercise and you feel dizzy and low blood sugar and nauseous, you're intermittent fasting, so you can't eat, right? Well, you can. I mean, you're a human being. You could go in the fridge and eat and say, flick that, right? But
Which
but
I
the
do.
reality is, right? So then it's not working, because then it's not. So then you have to figure out what times are you going to fast with your exercise, right? So those are things you look at. A lot of people like to intermittent fast and not exercise because they know that they're fasting, so they don't have the energy at the
But it
time.
should work together, you're saying?
You could, but you have to plan it properly.
Plan it properly.
You
Yes.
have to plan it properly during, like me, if I'm intermittent fasting, you better believe my exercise happening during that eating period. It not happen because
Right.
because mentally I program myself after a hard workout. I must have something in my mouth, be it a protein shake, be it something. So I can't do it when I fast and water. Come in and drink water and tea. So
Right.
intermittent fasting, JD, you have to know how your body is going to respond. You have to know if you suffer from any diseases, any illnesses, hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, any vascular diseases, anything at all, to know what your body can handle. You have to know when you're going to exercise during your eating or your fasting
Right.
time. You have to understand how your body's going to respond. Now, I tried intermittent fasting the other day because a patient was telling me about it so much, and I tried it, and I recognized that I have to have my coffee in the morning, right? I go
Can you
into
not have
work.
coffee? Can you not have coffee?
Right, you can have coffee.
Right.
So, but then after my coffee, my brain is trained to what? Eat, right? So so it was quite a feat,
A
and
challenge.
a challenge, and but I don't think it was bad. I must admit that I felt nice. I was ravenous by
Yeah,
by
yeah.
by 12 o'clock. I was like, food, food, food. Where is the food? I was like, I don't care what you give me, just give me food. It was like an addiction, basically. Like, where's the drug at? But then after about 2 days, the body got accustomed. But it's important that you hydrate and you know how you're doing it. But I wouldn't do intermittent for too long for me. But I think it's something that can work.
Can
But I
work.
think you have to look at your body and see how it's
And
feeling.
again, you're going back to the same point. Research ourselves. Make sure that we can do it, whether it's what we're putting in or what we're practicing.
And know why, and know how long you plan to do it for, and what your healthy lifestyle will be. Because Jerry, it has to be a lifestyle. It has to be something that you will continue for life. It has to be something that you like, right? So I would say it's important to you achieve the weight loss goal. Now what? That kind of thing.
All right. Well, that's our conversation for today pertaining to those health hacks and whether they're effective or not. So we spoke about probiotics, we spoke about intermittent fasting, and we also spoke about oil pulling, in the coconut oil pulling, the use of lemon water every morning, and there was another one. What's the other one again? It's five
The
of
and
them.
the colonics,
Colonics. The colonics,
colonics,
that's
yes.
it. So thank you
The
so
most
much for
important.
the most messy one of all. Thank you for the input as always inside of our conversation, Dr. Asante LeBlanc. We appreciate it. Of course, you can place your questions. We always remind you, and we will be answering the questions there. Tell us what you think we should talk about next. Why not? We will also just be telling you in the next episode. Let's leave it for the next episode. Some of the things that we're working on. Yeah. So right now, I just want to say thank you, Dr. LeBlanc, for your time as always. And I know we're going to talk about vertigo next.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes. Gina. Yes.
So you can look forward to that inside the next discussion. All right. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Follow us on our Instagram pages and on Facebook. This is information that helps us all. Yeah. Dr. Asante LeBlanc is just like us, human too. But she just has a knack to just deliver the messages to us just so easily, so we can relate. All right.
Oh gosh, I try, but thank you very much. And yeah, look forward to your questions, look forward to more topics. We'll help however we can break it down and arm you with what you need to go to your physician with.
Yes, that's it. Thank you so much as always, guys. Take care of yourself. Be blessed. See you inside the next episode of the live checkup. Almost said G-Chats, but you can check that out too.
No shame in her game.
Exactly. And that's it. Another episode of The Live Checkup with Dr. Asante LeBlanc. This is where I say to you, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the questions as well. You help me do my job even easier. And of course, it's always good to have Dr. Asante inside of our world virtually discussing some of the very important topics pertaining to our health. Now, if you've got that topic for a health discussion with Dr. Asante LeBlanc, don't hesitate to connect with us. In fact, send that email to jdsocial868@mail.com. Yeah, and we'll certainly put our heads together and bring forward another one of the episodes with you in mind. So don't forget, jdsocial868@mail.com. Check out my website as well if you're looking for any voiceover talent or maybe a host for an event, whatever it may be. Check it out, www.jdmedia868.com.